Happy Friday, East Tennessee. You've made it to the big weekend. Of course, it's the Florida Gator game. I mean, it's the swamp. I've got a little bit of a gator here on my shoulder. That's what you're seeing. By the way, I want to talk about the rain. Not seeing much now this morning, but we will see it evolve during the course of today in spotty or stray shower form. But I fully expect we're going to see more rain as we head into Saturday evening, and right into Sunday. It won't necessarily be an equal opportunity rainfall, but based on the conflicting data, I would suspect we're in that 60 to 40% chance of rain Saturday, Sunday. So be prepared to have some, maybe some disruptions for outdoor activities. I'm thinking Tennessee Valley Fair. Tonight they've got wrestling tonight, so there's going to be a lot of fun there, but I don't think rain will be an issue tonight, but there could be an issue heading into, say, Saturday night for other activities. A couple of showers this morning, just to the north and west of Gadsden, and maybe just to the west of Rome, Georgia, also around maybe Athens and say Atlanta. So they've got maybe potential for some rain, but don't be surprised something forms today, and it's going to be very limited for Friday. Most of the rain you can see is either well to the west in parts of Texas, but Gainesville is dry right now. They have the potential for some rain later today, and sadly more potentially right before that game starts tomorrow evening. Visibility, not an issue this morning, although we may have more fog, patches of fog on Saturday morning, but we've got visibility at 10 miles per hour. Now, when you see two red flags with the black rectangle, that's indicative of a hurricane. But now the expectation is from the hurricane center that this will likely drop down to a tropical storm when it makes landfall, and I thought I could show you a little dynamic look on the future of Lee. How's this for color? Oh, I can see it. I don't need a meteorology degree to know where that hurricane is. There's Washington, D.C. on the left. There's Philadelphia, New York on the left, and this is around 7:30 this morning. And this is going to continue to work its way northward. Some warm colors on the east side, some cooler air coming in from the northwest around Quebec and Portland. This is 2 o'clock tomorrow morning, and it's likely to make, as I mentioned the last couple of days, like a 7-10 split between Maine and Nova Scotia. So you're looking at St. John as perhaps where landfall will be for this tropical storm. But the winds are pretty gnarly in Boston at 12 noon tomorrow, and they're pretty nasty in Halifax. So if that doesn't give you some visuals, I hope it does, give you an idea where Lee is going to be going this weekend. As he goes up, some showers and storms will be moving down across parts of Florida, so that's why that wet weather is in the outlook. And then there's 5 o'clock. May very well make its way towards St. John toward evening on Saturday. I'm looking at the center of circulation here, but its effects will be reaching with beach erosion, rip currents up and down the Carolina coast as well as New England. And there's about 10-15. So tomorrow night, may very well make landfall near St. John, maybe a few miles east or west. But that's something to watch, and eventually it'll work its way back further north and east, and we won't be talking about Lee for much longer. By the way, it's 64 degrees this morning in Knoxville. It's 59 in Nashville. Do my eyes deceive me? Do I see 49? No, of course not. You don't see 49. Do you see 49? I don't see 40. I see it. I see maybe a gator hater, but I see 49. It's right there. It's right there on the left side of your screen. It feels like autumn in Jackson, Tennessee this morning. Big difference between that and Memphis at 63. Tupelo's at 63. But there's a little bit of cool air coming down from Paducah. Follow the blue arrows. That's what's driving the cooler air across parts of West Tennessee this morning. But if we close in closer to home, we don't have 40s, but dare I say 50s are more common along the Kentucky-Tennessee line as well as into the plateau this morning. It's 55 in Crossville. If you're on the call, say good morning to you. Happy Friday. Go Big Orange. Go Vols. Are you ready? This is the big game for some. Florida is the pinnacle. It's the big rivalry. Talk to others. They say, no, it's Alabama. But we know what happened last year with Alabama. We did a very fine job, I'd say. Stephen Snyder says, good morning. 73 degrees this morning is nice. Go Vols. Fred says, good morning. I'm also on YouTube, so I'm doing a twofer. I'm doing two. In fact, I got another person watching. If you have a chit-chat. Oh, I see needed 97. Good morning, David. Glad to have you here as well. So we've got a lot going on as far as the weather, as far as events, Tennessee Valley Fair, and as well as your outdoor plans. You may have noticed you haven't had to mow the lawn as often. That was one of the comments one of my premium members, Marilyn Bell, commented. She was mowing the lawn twice a week a couple weeks ago, but she did not feel that was the need since it's probably gotten a little bit cooler and certainly a lot less humid. Look at these dew points. They're in the mid-50s. It feels fantastic. But you know, there's a reputation that Gainesville has being in the swamp, don't you know? Their dew points will be in the 70s. the 70s, he says. So it's going to feel very icky and sticky with the rain showers and storms that they'll be affected by. Speaking of the game, 7 o'clock ESPN, probably knew that part. But did you know that rain showers are probably going to be more common before this game? I'm talking 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Maybe it trails off to a 20% chance of rain for the second half. But I do think that the rain opportunities will be mainly through the afternoon with the heating of the day. We'll go from the low 80s, most likely, for kickoff into the lower 70s by the end of the fourth quarter, and the sun sets 35 minutes after kickoff. So a little bit of sunlight, obviously, to start, but the Vols are, in fact, number 11 in the country. They're 2-0, and the Gators are 1-1. Go Vols. Now, as far as the humidity, look here. We're going to bring some of it back in green from Huntsville to Birmingham this afternoon. There's 5 o'clock. Won't feel it in Morristown necessarily, but you might feel it if you're in Crossville by 5 o'clock today. Heading into it tonight, a little bit of humidity, maybe from Knoxville back toward Chattanooga, and then it kind of retreats first thing tomorrow morning, and then when it does come back, it'll come back with some showers and some thunderstorms. That's 5 o'clock Saturday. But if you look down to the south, I missed my circle. I missed my circle. Well, you get the point. Gainesville's down there. Gainesville's there. But that's where the humidity is going to be off the chart. They're going to be in the mid-70s. So they're going to live up to their name's worth down there. And then 8 o'clock Sunday morning, we've got a little bit more humidity. And then the rain's going to try and move east, much like the humidity will move east for the second half of your Sunday. Monday looks pretty sweet. Maybe a mix of sun and clouds, but humidity not a factor on Monday. So wind speeds, well, they varied this morning. They're at 5 miles an hour, 0 or 12 or 13 if you're at Wartburg or Newport. But those are where the winds are at the moment. Not a whole lot of clouds visibly here from the infrared satellite image. We've got some high clouds. They're kind of streaming across the screen, but where showers are persisting would be in parts of Georgia and in maybe south of Augusta at this particular time in the morning. Sunrises this morning, almost, I say a half hour, a little more than a half hour, 18 minutes after I'm finished is when the sun will be up this morning, and it'll be setting this afternoon or evening at 7:43. So if we get you ready for the bus stop, the drop off, generally in the 50s and 60s, but for picking up the kiddos today, don't be surprised if maybe there's a few stray showers in the area where you've climbed into the upper 70s, dare I say low 80s. I'm expecting a high around 84 for Knoxville and 79 for Wartburg, 82 for Morristown. Coming back on camera because I'm a note taker. Yesterday's high was in fact 83. And the normal high is 83. So we're kind of in that ballpark where it's where one might typically expect in the middle of September. Believe it or not, today is the 15th of September. If you're on YouTube, I got 3 people now watching. Say Steve Stone says good morning. Glad to see Steve over here. And I keep encouraging you to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. That part is free. Doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers. That's a benchmark in YouTube. Would love to get there. Just need about 47 more, and I will be there. Wanda says, hope leaves will be beautiful this fall. Go Vols. Carrie says, good Friday morning. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. She's got her heart and cup of coffee. Happy Friday to you, Carrie. And I mentioned Steve Snyder. Steven Snyder's here, and Carolyn Ann Witt. Thanks, David. She's on here wanting to wish everyone a happy Friday. It is 6:48. We've got temperatures topping off in the 80s today in Knoxville. But what about the rain? You keep saying spots of rain. What's it look like? Some of the models want to put a little bit of rain here, a little bit of rain there. It's not an equal opportunity rain today. That's why I emphasize the word stray showers. And it may not even be measurable. This might be a little bit exaggeration. But it puts a little drop there or two in Morristown, Sevierville, maybe Crossville, Tellico, Plains, and Athens. But if we move into Friday night, into Saturday, starts to fill in, okay, well, the guidance would suggest we have maybe a half inch, maybe an inch around Morristown by the time we hit 11 o'clock Sunday. So by the end of the weekend, even if this were half right, even if we picked up 1/3 of an inch, Knoxville, some of you would say, I would applaud that. My lawn is dry. I've got crunchy grass. I'd like some rain. I've had some people ask, like I'm a vending machine. I'm just the messenger. I am just the messenger. But I will tell you this. The rain is in the forecast. And if this is half right, you're going to get some much-needed rain for that lawn or perhaps even garden. I mentioned a little bit about Lee, the top of this Facebook and YouTube Live, but we have 2 disturbances the National Hurricane Center is watching this morning. And you say, well, how do I know it's this morning? Because this was time-stamped in the lower left at 2 a.m. And their next update will come at 8 a.m. That's how they roll. But 90% chance that Nigel forms in red, and now they've got a little interesting spot off of Africa that could become the next name storm, and that would be Ophelia. Are you sure about that? I am, because it goes from Nigel, Ophelia, and Philippe. These names are predetermined well years in advance. But we are marching along as Margot has now been downgraded to a tropical storm. Margot, you don't hear much about her, but she's moving north. She's not making all the headlines like Lee is, because Lee's going to have some impact and is having impact on parts of the East Coast even this morning. Now, what's down to the right of your screen, where the red, the biggest red area, could be Nigel. And you can see that little disturbance off of Africa, the red area behind that, and that could be Ophelia. So we have a very interesting pattern shaping up across the tropical playground. Now, what about the rainfall for our northeastern friends and neighbors? You can see the bulk of it's offshore. So by model estimations, we may find some areas in white that approach 6, 7, 8 inches of rain, but areas in yellow and green might be closer to 2 or 3 or 4 in parts of Maine and Nova Scotia. So thankfully, they're not going to be dealing with too much. It could be worse. It always could be worse. But the wave heights already over 30 feet. I see 35 there in the center of Lee, and that's why rip currents and beach erosion, and I'm sure lifeguards telling some folks maybe in the Carolina beaches, hey, come on in. We don't want you out there when Hurricane Lee's sliding up to the north, because it can be quite disruptive, and it also can create some dangerous swimming environments. Lee, as we mentioned, will likely make its path towards, say, Maine and also Nova Scotia by Saturday evening when it makes landfall, but it seems like it pushes now further east when before it thought maybe it was closer to us. Here's where the Hurricane Lee update. This is basically this morning. You can see it says 4 a.m., but really 5 a.m. could be argued as when the last update from the Hurricane Center for this storm. It has it weakening or holding steady, I should say, to 85 here. Stays 85 into parts of Saturday morning. Let's zoom in here. But now we're looking at a strong tropical storm, right? Then I said maybe around, say, areas in St. John, but they put that cone right between perhaps St. John and just to the west of Halifax. So these are the areas we'll be watching for Lee, and it most likely will have weakened when it makes landfall. Now, as far as Gainesville, focused on that here too. Once what goes up must come down. Put a little arrow for showers. You can see all that rain begins to develop. That wasn't there from maybe early this morning, but they've got 2 opportunities in Gainesville today and tomorrow for some showers and some thunderstorms if you are traveling down there today. All right, it is 6:52. I got stray showers in the headlines. More rain chances, boo or yay. I think there could be some yays out there. Yay, rain. No, boo. This is typically, September, October, some dry months typically, unless something tropical or maybe a weakening tropical storm could bring in some rain, but that's not the case. We're getting some showers and storms associated with a front, but both Saturday and Sunday have opportunities for rain showers here. Now, right now we have 64 degrees. Northeast wind at 5. We've seen some wind speeds a little stronger in some outlying areas, but the dew point temperature is very comfortable at 56 degrees, which is why I was articulating this is a feel-good Friday. Sure, you might get a spot of rain today, but it still feels pretty good in terms of humidity. Now, I have a 60% chance on Saturday. That chance Saturday night could very well stay at 60, maybe higher, depending on how quickly this front gets in here, because my hope is that the bulk of the rain will be over, we'll say tapering off by the afternoon. It will push toward the Smokies. So Sunday could have some salvage. You could salvage some of the time, maybe in the afternoon, as the rain will be likely moving from west to east on Sunday. So that's where I expect things to be. And as I wanted to check your comments, as we look at the Valley Planner, average high is 83. I expect we'll be around 84. 84 degrees for an afternoon high temperature today. Good morning again. I got Ed says, good morning, have a great Vols win weekend. Isn't it exciting? I mean, this is like when many feel like the season starts. That's why I got my orange tie. I know that Ed's rooting for our Vols. Pete says, thanks again, Captain Marty Melvin. Happy Friday, Captain, in East Tennessee. Checking in from North Carolina, I see. And Fred says he hopes my family in Maine won't get too bad. Y'all have a safe and blessed weekend. I think they've had worse, Fred. And if you've lived there, and I gather that you have from previous comments, Fred, that they will make it just fine. They're a hardy bunch up in New England. They're used to all sorts of nor'easters and battered storms where they get hammered with winds and rain. They'll be able to make this just like probably a strong tropical storm, which is a big difference. Because a week ago, Thursday night, Friday, a week ago now, it was a 165 Category 5 hurricane, and it's not, I repeat, not anything like that now, and will likely weaken even more from its Category 2 status now. Now, severe risk, we've got some areas in yellow. When you see these yellow areas, that's scattered severe storms in New Mexico and Texas. primarily West Texas. Steven Snyder has interest in Houston. I know there might be some isolated storms in his neck of the woods, but Minneapolis could have some isolated storms there. But this is the Storm Prediction Center. Their map has some isolated storms that could be severe in Austin, San Antonio, as well as Laredo. For us, any thunder could very well be confined to Chattanooga and Cleveland and just to the southwest of Crossville. Now, Saturday, we've got some general thunderstorms anticipated here in light green. Darker greens area maybe around Kansas City or Columbia, and west of Peoria might have some isolated severe storms, but we'll have the risk for thunder on Saturday. That I can assure you. But even here, as you can see, it's trying to push east. We got some areas of maybe isolated severe storms along the beaches of North Carolina on Sunday, which would include Jacksonville, Wrightsville Beach, and Wilmington, North Carolina. Nothing going on here as far as thunder in the view or analysis of the Storm Prediction Center. Now let me show you why I left a stray shower. Here at 6:56. My goal was to be done here in 4 minutes, so bear with me. The little trough that forms here, and that may be just enough kick start in the atmosphere to produce enough clouds, and then voila, by midday, if not sooner, maybe a little stray showers. All right, did you call for this? Yeah, I'm calling for it. Whether it verifies in your neighborhood is anyone's guess, because these are pretty random, and they're not an equal opportunity rain today. But you can see a little bit of a trough there. That brown line, that weak line of low pressure, may actually help spawn a few showers during the course of this afternoon. Some of it may just be over-exaggerated, which models can sometimes do. But the bulk of the rate is back toward Huntsville, maybe around Birmingham, even into this evening. Now, this locks and reloads tomorrow morning. You may wake up dry Saturday morning, but watch what happens to the rain in Nashville. The rain in Huntsville, it tries to come back. And it comes back here, particularly in the afternoon and evening. So there's 5 o'clock, which is why I left a 60% chance of rain on Saturday. Then there's this reinforcing front coming down from St. Louis, approaching Bowling Green, and there's a wet start to Sunday. But does it move to the east towards Charlotte? Yes, it does. There's midday. Church services may be letting out where you are, and by then, let's hope most of the rain has moved away. But if the front comes in faster, then you've got rain on the both ends of the day. So it's just one of those things we'll have to wait and see. But we'll be fluid to know that at least there's a 40 to 60% chance of rain on Saturday and Sunday. Here's another look at this at 6:57. We're going to noontime and should be around 74. You'll notice a good mix or blend of clouds and sunshine as indicated here. So we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds, maybe a stray shower in green in parts of Monroe County or maybe near Kingston or perhaps the plateau around Crossville or Lake Tansy. That's 5 o'clock today. I expect we'll be around 84. Not everybody gets to 84. I'm looking at the Crossville, Jamestown, Oneida, Wartburg. You're in the 70s today, and won't get much higher than that. Now, meanwhile, tonight, maybe a stray shower near Maryville, but that fades away. And then we go into tomorrow morning, and then it all starts over again, right? Midday, see some showers and storms, some areas in red, maybe stronger. But I think this will fill in. Got some showers around Sevierville, Pigeon Forge. And it continues on Saturday night like so. And then we do this again Sunday morning. And so it goes. So that's the forecast. Here it is at 6:58, looking for a high of 84 today with a mix of clouds and sun. Stray showers on the table, but not everybody gets one. 80 for a high in La Follette. High of 77 is what I expect for Crossville, Fairfield, Glade, and Lake Tansy. 83 for Newport, Parrotsville, Del Rio, and Cosby. 83 Maryville, Alcoa, and 82 for White Pine, Morristown, as well as Dandridge. Today, look for a high in the mid-80s in Nashville. Low 80s for Memphis, and about 77 for Asheville around the Biltmore. Tonight we're down to 63, partly to mostly cloudy, and yes, some patches of fog I think will be more noticeable tomorrow as compared to this morning because we don't have much to speak of here on a Friday morning. Low temperatures will be back in the 50s, still waiting for it here, but we've seen it, it seems like night after night, morning after morning for parts of the plateau, down to about 54 for Middlesboro in southeast Kentucky, 56 Jamestown, 57 Crossville, and Sevierville could be around 57 first thing tomorrow morning, but I expect lower 60s in Knoxville and 64 in Oak Ridge tomorrow morning. Here's your Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast, finishing on time, woohoo, and I got time for questions too. 6:59, here's your Captain Accurate 7-day forecast, 83 on Saturday, 80, most of us, if this rain holds on, we may not get out of the mid to upper 70s, but we'll be optimistic. Say we could make a run toward 80 in Knoxville. Showers and storms, the bulk of it very well could be in the morning, but if that front comes in behind it quicker, we'll have some showers in the afternoon, and we won't get out of the 70s on Sunday. I do have us in the upper 70s for Monday, and then we're back in the mid-80s for Wednesday and Thursday. But there's some cool mornings, at least Tuesday morning. Looks pretty promising with lows around 54 degrees. Just want to say good morning to you. I see some notes. Cody LaRue says, good morning, David. Happy to have Cody here. He's one of my Facebook premium members. Would love to have you join us. We're going to be talking about winter outlook soon, very soon. I'll say as soon as in October. So stay with us if that's something that interests you. Maybe you get excited about weather when snow is in the forecast, when it's even mentioned. We'll be talking about that first on that side. Carrie says, when can we expect your winter outlook? I think I just answered it. In October. It's coming. Janet says, thank you, David. Have a great weekend. Everyone go Vols. And I see Wanda post says fall will be here soon. But some days it feels like fall. Real quickly, we'll look at YouTube, too. We got some folks on here as well. Got 4 people. I got Steve Stone. I got Needed. 97, good morning, David. Glad to have you on YouTube. Again, wanting to expand my reach because I do know that some people prefer different platforms, so I'm trying to reach as many people with the East Tennessee weather forecast as I can. Anyway, have a great weekend. We'll say Gator Hater Week. We can beat that guy up. And then we'll see how this game plays out. I know this is a real test, right? The real test for the Vols on the road against Florida. Exciting to watch. My name is David Aldridge. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.